You know I don't have a lot of time. I've got to do this show with Jalen every single day. I've got twins. I've got an older kid. I've got 3 kids and a job. I don't have time to go shopping. And that's why 5-4 Club understands that your time is extremely valuable. Why waste it at the mall wandering around all those stores trying on clothes and not being happy when you get home? They've been the leading menswear brand for over 15 years. You can trust 5-4 with your wardrobe. Here's what they do. Every month, they send you a curated box of just 2 or 3 items that are handpicked to match your style and your fit. They know exactly what they're doing. So if you don't, that's okay. 5-4 Club will help you build your wardrobe 1 month at a time. You get $120 worth of clothes for just $60 a month. And if you've got clothes and you've got your wardrobe to the way you like it, you can pause or cancel at any time. What 5-4 Club does is they partner with cutting-edge designers and brands so you get the same quality as top designer clothes, but for way less. You don't have to go to the mall, and you save all that time. Guess who else is using 5-4 Club? Not just me. Chris Paul, Mark Wahlberg, and others are all using 5-4 Club. And 5-4 is featured not just here, but in GQ and Vice and InStyle. Here's what you do. Go to 54club.com right now and enter promo code JJ, and they'll give you 50% off your first month's package. Plus, you get a free pair of sunglasses. That's 50% off your first package at 5-4 Club, spelled FIVEFOUR Club.com. Promo code JJ at 54club.com. Promo code JJ. Let 5-4 Club get you fly.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the day. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
It's the day before Thanksgiving, and he is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I am David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in,
we are Jalen Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What do we do?
we get the people what they want.
Happy holidays to everybody everywhere. It is not very happy holidays in Clipperland. The Clippers started 4-0 this season. The two of us both had high expectations for this team, and since they started 4-0, they have lost 11 of 12, and they have now lost 9 in a row. There they are, getting scored on by the Mavs. Patrick Beverley missing shots. He's now going to have surgery. It is a mess for the Clippers. Jalen, we expected much more from the Clippers this season, even though Teodosic and Beverley have been out. Do you think that this loss has led to Steve Ballmer and Jerry West having conversations about replacing Doc Rivers?
Conversations, those went from text to emails to meetings. That's how that works. There's no analysis I could give for a roster that has Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Lou Williams, and I'll throw in Austin Rivers, who probably played in each of those games to lose 11 of 12 and 9 straight.
Gallinari's been out too, I should mention. But it always seems like the story is injuries with the Clippers, but these particular injuries shouldn't lead to losing 11 of 12.
Well, here's what they lost in the offseason. Of course, we're going to highlight Chris Paul, a terrific playmaker who still gets you 18 points and slows the game down and gets everyone else involved.
Shout out.
You lose the engine that made people better. J.J. Redick now. All of a sudden, your catch-and-shoot player that Chris Paul got shots for spreads the floor. He's not there.
Yep.
One of the best isolation one-on-one players to get you a shot late in the clock or get you a 4-point play or close games for you, Jamal Crawford. He's no longer there. So they lost their firepower on the perimeter. You replace him with Teodosic, as you mentioned. He's hurt.
Gallinari,
he's hurt. Patrick Beverley, he's hurt. So in theory, again, I want to end this by saying no squad that has those players participating in all of those games should lose the way they've lost recently, and therefore those meetings, those conversations about Doc are being had.
And Doc Rivers, in a way, has always had but we had injuries. You know what I mean? It seems like every time, we were going great. We had these good stretches, but then Blake got hurt. Buck CP got hurt. It seems like every single year there's a reason to keep him around because there are things that happen that are outside of his control that affect the team, but it seems to happen over and over and over again. And this particular losing streak, I am sure they have had some conversations about replacing him.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's kept him around. He's one of the top coaches in the game. That's really what's happening. And so if he does lose the Clipper job, maybe not immediately, but he would if he chose to have an opportunity to coach. And again, Colin Kaepernick is looking around the NBA like, man, it's foul. Mark Jackson can't have a job. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be in the league coaching one of these 30 basketball teams with the way he helped nurture and develop a young Golden State Warrior squad that ultimately became what they are now.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. But there's also this. You remember the Clipper team when they went to New York City and they lost and Blake Griffin shot 6 for 18 and he was a minus 20? Well, guess what he did after that? He went out with Kendall Jenner. He goes out late at night until 3 in the morning, and that's fine. Like, his work day is different, like, his schedule's different. I'm not going to get mad at a guy for going out on the town, especially if he's with the person he's involved with. That's fine. My question for you is, would bad shooting nights when you're in the NBA, or would losing streaks, or bad losses, would that keep you from champagning and campaigning?
How do I gauge success?
Realistic expectations.
So it was different based on the season and the team I played on. Mm-hmm. So when I'm playing on the Indiana Pacers and we have one of the best records in the game and going to 3 straight conference finals, when you lose a game, it's not time to champagne and campaign. If you do, the optics don't look good. You got to dial it back a little bit. More importantly, you have to do some soul searching and have whatever fun you have on the law.
Let's imagine you get traded to Chicago.
And they have the worst record in the league, and it's February.
Halftime, you're making plans.
No question about it. That's just the way it is. And so, remember, this is your job. Everybody out there that has one understands there's times that you actually need a release, something that relieves your stress. And for a lot of people, that comes in various ways. For some athletes, it's going to come with going out, having a nice dinner, being in the public, listening to some music, enjoying the opportunities that you've been given based on putting yourself in a position to be a pro athlete.
So you always say that there will be no LeVar Ball slander on this program. Even though he's made a lot of questionable decisions, he's had some questionable quotes, and I questioned a lot of his moves. This one, I don't even think you can back. Here's what he had to say about his son's performance and the coaches of the Los Angeles Lakers. Quote, "They're soft. They don't know how to coach my son. I know how to coach him. I tell him to get the victory. Stop messing around." Well, Luke Walton responded. Let's hear what Luke had to say.
I will say this. I think that he has done a phenomenal job as a father with Lonzo, because Lonzo is a special young man. He's selfless. He's unselfish. His teammates love him. He cares about them. He plays the game the right way. So he's done a great job with that. But we're not concerned with what parents think of how we're coaching the team.
He sounds like a 10-year-old soccer team coach. You know what I mean? He's a great parent, but we're not concerned with what the parents think about the rotations. Jalen, you always back LeVar. But now he is literally insinuating that he should be coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. This isn't Chino Hills High, Jalen. You cannot back LeVar Ball in this one.
I back Luke Walton also, the son of a Hall of Famer, and Bill Walton, my former colleague who I love seeing call games for this very fine network.
You changed the subject.
Luke did a terrific job when he filled in for Steve Kerr, and he earned this Los Angeles Lakers job. Not only currently, but for the future.
I love what you're doing.
I have a solution.
What you're doing. I love what you are doing. What's the solution?
You got to hire LeVar.
You got to hire LeVar, right?
Put him on the payroll.
Jalen.
When you watch an NBA team, it's 35 people sitting on the bench, and it's another 50 sitting behind. I see my brother Ahmad Rashad in Charlotte sitting on the bench with MJ.
This is what I love about you. This is why you're such a good friend. Is you will just blindly back people. You'll blindly back me no matter what I do. LeVar Ball is talking about I need to be coaching the Lakers, and you know what you say? He should be coaching the Lakers. LeVar Ball should not be coaching the Lakers, Jalen Rose. He should not be coaching the Lakers. But I respect your loyalty and I respect your passion and your ride or die-ness.
The Lakers and I'm not saying he's not good at his job because he actually is, but just the optics for Los Angeles, hired the Kardashians' trainer.
Jalen, you really think LeVar Ball should be a coach of the Lakers?
They can put him on the staff.
What title do you give him? Assistant trainer?
No, Lonzo's dad. There's so many parents and friends and managers and agents that travel with NBA teams.
You know Randy gets paid by the Cavaliers? I love this. Lonzo's dad. Why not? Magic, Irv, Hall of Fame mogul. Make the call. We'll give you his number.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha. Night. Oh, I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Jalen, you always say that tomorrow is the Lions Super Bowl.
I'm already tailgating soon as this program ends. Already getting it started. You know how on Christmas Eve parents start wrapping gifts and pulling out cookies and milk for Santa? Or on just a normal Saturday turn Sunday or Friday turn Saturday, where avid football fans of the college or professional game, they start the pregame ritual and tailgating. That's what this is going to be the second this program ends.
Well, we've got a big game. The Minnesota Vikings going into the D and playing the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about the Vikings quarterback situation for a second. Case Keenum was awful under Jeff Fisher and the Rams. Jared Goff was also awful last year under Jeff Fisher and the Rams. Both of those quarterbacks have been pretty good this year. Case Keenum even more surprising. He's had some solid performances, and now you have Teddy Bridgewater is back. So you've got the third quarterback on the depth chart. Bridgewater would probably be their preferred, Bradford number 2, and then Case Keenum number 3. If you are the coach of the Vikings, do you start Case Keenum or do you start Bridgewater, assuming Bridgewater's healthy?
I'll start Case Keenum. Because sports, you have to account for something that's not on the scoreboard, that's not on the stat sheet, momentum. And he played really well when given the opportunity. The opposite of what you saw take place in Buffalo when they made their quarterback change, which was a disaster. Yeah. So based on that, I would keep the quarterback under center for this game, and knowing that not only I got Teddy Bridgewater back, who's been a starter in this league, and I'm happy to see that, but you give him another week or so to kind of just get his bearings back.
Sure.
And when an athlete's been out a long time and he tells you he's ready to go, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I want you to wait a couple more weeks to be safe. So based on that, I'll start Case Keenum. In fantasy, I'm starting the Vikings defense, which makes me root against my Lions offense, so we can win 3-0.
Well, let me give you some good news for Detroit. They've won the last 4 Thanksgiving Day games.
I tried to tell you, fam.
They've won the last 3 games against the Minnesota Vikings. They beat the Vikings earlier this year 14-7, and the Vikings are truly one of the best teams in the National Football League.
You'll listen to me one day.
Do you think the Lions are going to win for real?
It's the Super Bowl. Yes. How many games in a row have we won on Thanksgiving?
4.
That's the longest win streak we've had at any time of any season.
Of any streak of anything.
What are you saying? Of course we're going to win. I'm just trying to see.
I'm not so sure.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, my little brother Big Sean is going to be performing, I think. I follow him on Twitter. I think I seen him post something. Maybe he was at the Pistons game. But either way, we're going to have somebody from the city on stage to represent. It's going to be awesome.
And that one starts too early for me, man.
Perfect time.
What's it start, 12:30?
That is perfect.
On the East Coast? That's 9:30.
That's so perfect.
So here's the problem. And I need your help with this, Jalen. there's a lot of just disproportionately women in my family, especially at Thanksgiving. Just a lot of females around. I think me and my son are probably going to be the only males at the house. Shout out to Uncle Garrett if he comes by.
Shout out to Q.
Shout out to Q. And Q isn't exactly the biggest football fan.
Good for him.
I'm not even going to try to get the game on the main television in the living room. I'm going to have my little kid chamber.
On a Women's Crush Wednesday, you're definitely not going to try that.
I'm going straight to the bedroom. I might even lock the door.
And you know when you talking to a microphone and use term like chamber, that could be considered a failed test.
I guess so, but it's not. I call it my sports chamber.
Okay.
It's my sports chamber.
Okay.
When there's big games, I go into my sports chamber and I lock the door and I turn off all the lights. I turn the volume up to 100.
Sounds like a Wu-Tang album.
They'll get there eventually. The saga continues to the sports chamber. Now we have the Chargers playing in Dallas against the Cowboys, minus Ezekiel Elliott. I think I might skip this one.
I get a lot of fantasy love. I got to see what Phillip Rivers does. Need him to have a big game. Dak struggled last week versus Philly.
You're really concerned about your fantasy team, I can tell. You talk about it a lot. You usually talk about your fantasy team a lot, but you've been talking about it a lot lately.
Well, I'm 7-4, and 2 weeks before the playoffs, I'm second place now in the division. I need these 2 wins.
I don't think you're going to get these wins based on your team.
No.
I really
put
don't.
The best players on the field. So everybody out there, I know it by heart. I hate to put Sanu on the bench because he has been consistent lately. But this is going to be the money squad we going with this week.
No one asked.
Just like we draft them. There's a lot of people out there to play fantasy. Okay, to care about it. Phillip Rivers at QB. LeGarrette Blount and Fournette at running back.
You're the
Doug
best.
Baldwin and Larry Fitzgerald at receiver.
I know this roster by heart, too, because you won't stop talking about it.
Travis Kelce at tight end. And here's the flex that replaced Sanu, coming back from injury. Greg Olsen. Need him the ball. Have the Vikings D. Have the Titans kicker.
I know your fantasy team more than my own fantasy team now. Because off wax, it's basically all you talk about now. We spend more time talking about your fantasy team than any NBA team out there.
Or anything on the show.
Anything on the show, for sure. I wish you put just like 1/10 of the effort into the show that you put into your fantasy team. You know, we're gonna have to start giving you incentive-laden contracts or something, because there's money at stake. We're gonna get you one of those Ricky Williams contracts,
one of them Roger Goodells. That's what I want.
Let's get you one of those Roger Goodells. You don't have to worry about first class. You got a plane for the rest of your life. And then we have what looks like a good game. You know, when you put it on the schedule at the beginning of the year, the New York Giants playing the Washington Redskins. And quietly, Kirk Cousins has been putting together some good performances. Quietly, he's one of the top half QBs in the league.
A division rival, the division rivalry, just like the Detroit game.
3 of the 4 teams in the NFC East are playing on Thanksgiving.
And I think the Washington Redskins, I think the Washington football team finds a way to win. The problem with that is I'm going to look around the house Thursday night, having dinner with Molly's family. Everything is going to be great. If the Lions and Giants lose, oh, man, I might have to sleep on the couch.
Yep. That's foul. Yep. You guys need each other to commiserate. You know?
That just sounds good on wax.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I don't think anybody really sleeps on the couch. You know what I mean? No, that doesn't happen in real relationships, right?
No, if you out, you out.
Yep. I slept on the floor for a while once, but not for real. I got back in there. My wife's
Get
the
him,
best.
Joy.
My wife's the best.
On a Wednesday. She run that house. Don't ever forget it. And you, which is 2 different things.
Very quickly, we are seconds away from Kevin Durant returning to Oklahoma City. Said he's going to play.
Return of the man.
He also said this when he was asked about Oklahoma City, quote, "That stuff right there is going to last forever. That stuff is way more important than a championship. Me and my family didn't just erase those 8 years in OKC, DC, and OKC is where we grew up. My mom, my brother, me, and my family didn't just erase those 8 years in OKC." What do you think about that?
Facts.
I am OKC.
Facts.
I'm still OKC. That
Facts.
blue is going to be in my blood forever. That place raised me.
Don't sleep on this. Kevin Durant loves what's happening in Golden State. But never say never.
Let me ask you this question.
And he's not burning the bridge.
Let me ask you this question.
He may end up back there one day.
Will Kevin Durant fly into Oklahoma City for fun, not for to play the team or not to accept an award, like just for fun. Will he ever do that for the rest of his life?
I'm going to do you one better. Yes, and for charity. And I'm 1,000% going to be right on this.
He'll do that. But the point I'm trying to make is
he going to fly to
OKC? If he loves OKC so much that he would visit, he would go there, he would keep a house there, he would do something if he loved it so much.
Now, is he going to keep a house there? No. Is he going to keep a vehicle there? No. Is he going to fly there on a Friday or Saturday night to go champagne and campaign? No. But he will go back for his charity event.
Yeah, I mean he'll stay. He'll stay associated with the city.
He cares about OKC.
I believe that. I'm not saying I'm not trying to say Seattle. I'm not trying to say he doesn't.
I wish they had a squad.
They should. Jalen Rose, we have some broken news.
To everyone else, it's breaking news. To Jalen and Jacoby listeners, it's broken news.
The Miami Hurricanes football team is at number 2 in the country. They're undefeated. But listeners of this program knew that was going to happen months ago. Let's take a look at a prediction that I made about this Miami team.
So you got 1, 2, 3, and then probably 4, I would say, and then 5. Then if you repeat the process, that's a 10-bite sandwich.
If this man approaches eating a sandwich with this level of detail and pre-production and strategy, there is no way that Miami loses a football game this year. Jalen, what you first saw was Mark Richt, head coach, explaining his strategy to eating a sandwich. What you saw after that was me claiming that they were going to go undefeated because of the way that he eats a sandwich. I've made so many predictions on this show, most of which do not come true, but the dumbest one that I make is actually coming to fruition. What does this mean?
It means that Miami must close the deal. And shout to to Luke Skywalker, to all of the fans and supporters of the squad. I've been just that for a long time. Mm-hmm. And in the 80s, a couple of teams that I idolized, the early Georgetown, John Thompson teams. And as it transpired later, the UNLV, Jerry Tarkanian basketball teams.
Mr. Rivas.
And obviously, the U and the legacy that they had. And when I got a chance to meet a few of those guys, in particular Warren Sapp in the early 90s, that became my squad other than the Wolverines.
We know that this is your squad because you've sort of supported this team before on wax. If you take a look at this photo here of you wearing the Miami gear. What's that in your left hand, Mr. Rose? I know your left hand. Is that basketball?
I know I'm not drinking urine.
No, that's a beer. That's a beer. You have age there?
I'm 21. I have to
I'm not sure you're 21. That looks like college-age Jalen Rose to me. That's what it looks like to me. That looks like college-age Jalen Rose. Well, you've rocked Miami swag, but I think based on this prediction that I made, if it bears out and they go undefeated and win the championship, should they get me a sandwich chain? You know they've got the turnover chain? Should they have a sandwich chain for me?
Like I said, it's just baffling to me to the point where I actually love it. There's so many people in mainstream America are enthusiastic. So many people in mainstream America are so enthusiastic watching young black individuals wear chains. I haven't seen it since Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, Mr. T. I love it.
Well, one team we know is not going to go undefeated, and we know is not going to be in the college football playoffs, is your Michigan Wolverines.
You love to do this.
They are playing Ohio State. You are going to the game. And Brady Quinn is on Fox Sports Radio. You remember Brady Quinn. And he said this about Jim Harbaugh and his future at the University of Michigan. He said, quote, I talked to someone who's kind of an insider within that program, and we had a long, drawn-out conversation. What he told me was they're working on a lifetime contract. Jalen, the only lifetime contract I will ever be involved in is with my wife.
And this show.
And you cannot support a lifetime contract for the head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Lifetime.
Why would I not support that?
Jalen hasn't exactly gone undefeated since he got to Michigan, and now he's got his own players. And you never know what's going to happen. Tomorrow's not promised. A lifetime contract, Jalen.
I would do that in a minute if I was the University of Michigan, but it'd have to have an age limit, like 75, 80.
It's something. Yeah. Like,
that's all I'm saying.
We don't need a lifetime contract for anybody in anything. I don't want to see zombie old Jim Harbaugh calling plays from the sideline wearing the same khakis.
Michigan will win versus the Ohio State Buckeyes this Saturday.
What?
Michigan's going to win.
Are you serious?
See, there are games
football?
during the year, like Wisconsin. Props to them. I hope they get into the playoff. It's great to see them come up. It's great to see Penn State come up. It's also for the Big Ten.
You know we're recording this.
But the biggest game of the year is happening this Saturday. Ohio State at Michigan. And all I know is we will be celebrating afterwards.
All I know is we'll be playing this tape on Monday, and we'll get your response on Jalen and Jacoby after they get blown out by at least 3 touchdowns. Some things about Thanksgiving we've discussed are cultural, but a lot of things about Thanksgiving are regional. And our colleagues over at 538, they did a poll of over 1,000 people from all over the country, and they constructed this map that you're seeing here. This is basically the disproportionately apparent regional side dishes. So these are the most popular side dishes in these regions, but these are the ones that are most specific to these regions. You've got squash in the Northeast, mac and cheese in the Southeast. You got cornbread right where you'd expect it, right around Texas and the surrounding states. The Midwest is green bean casserole. And then the whole western side of the country is salad. I have a lot of questions about this, but number one, have you ever had salad with your Thanksgiving meal?
Absolutely not.
I've never had salad with my Thanksgiving meal. It's never been discussed. It's never even been a thing. Why would we do that? What are we going to do? Cut up some carrots and cucumbers and put them next to the mac and cheese and the mashed potatoes? No one's going to touch the salad.
You're not going to eat salad with turkey.
It's not happening. I'm surprised that salad is. I've never even been around a Thanksgiving in which salad was discussed or salad was presented.
Preach.
It has not happened.
Preach.
However, I saw that your state of Michigan, green bean casserole?
Rolls and biscuits.
That was Michigan? Oh, green beans was a little bit to the west of that?
Yes.
We don't have a lot of green bean casserole at my Thanksgiving.
I've never had it.
Also not a lot of squash either. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us voicemails. If you leave voicemails, we'll play them on the show just like this.
Hi, Jalen and Jacoby. This is Nicole calling from LA. I've been listening to your show for years, and so has my husband, shout out, for years on the podcast. And I have a question. Soft move or boss move? Bringing Tupperware to someone else's Thanksgiving dinner. I need to know.
Thank you, Nicole. We appreciate the love. What up, Doe to L.A.? Shout to her husband as well.
Shout out.
Is it a soft move or boss move to bring Tupperware to somebody else's Halloween, somebody else's Thanksgiving, somebody else's Christmas, somebody else's spot?
Boss move.
Boss move.
Boss move. Let me say something, an unpopular opinion about Thanksgiving. Because it's Thanksgiving Eve. We got to have some Thanksgiving-themed content. I have Thanksgiving at my house because we have a lot of children. And when you have a lot of children, people come to you, okay? Here's something that I wish would happen. I wish everyone left with all the food. I wish there was 0 leftovers in my house. I don't want to see any of that food on Friday. I don't want to see any of it. I would like that. Reggie's in my ear, already mad, and I can tell from your face you disagree. Leftovers are an overrated part of Thanksgiving. I try to get rid of as much of the food to the guests that come over as possible, and my wife gives me a look when she sees me scooping the mac and cheese, a little heavy for aunties. She gives me a look like, you know, that's our mac, and that's what I plan on eating all day, all weekend.
A couple of things. So we're opposite views at a lot of things, which makes our program tick to me. And to me, this reminds me of our first class versus coach debate. One of the things I like about Virgin Airlines.
Wait. No. Don't try to twist this into your first class thing again.
One thing I like about Virgin Airlines is that they put a little barrier up, like for the club, between coach and first class. They try to deter you from using the lavatory up front. I'm the opposite of you on this one. It's refreshing. I don't eat or love many leftovers, but I do leftovers because I'm a cook. But more importantly, Thanksgiving dinner, it does taste better, in particular the turkey, better the next day.
I'll tell you why the turkey sandwich is a pass for me, okay? The turkey that you cut for Thanksgiving plate, you slice it a little thicker than you would for a sandwich. So you end up with a thick slices of turkey in your sandwich. They're like big chunks of turkey. I would prefer it to have a thin slice, like a cold cut slice, if I'm going to have a sandwich, because I don't like big, chunky, chewy, sort of like chicken breast side chunks of turkey in my sandwich. And no matter how much mayonnaise and pepper and whatever you put on there, it's still just going to be a big, chunky turkey. And I think everyone knows that turkey is an overrated part of the meal anyway. Turkey's not that good. Like, there's a reason you only eat it once a year. You don't make a turkey any other time of the year. You don't.
It depends on what type of turkey. Have you ever had deep fried turkey?
No, I'm a white person.
Okay. You need to have deep fried turkey.
I would love to. I heard it's dangerous to make, so
Yes.
I'm not into that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I host every year. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the utensils. I'm not getting involved.
So for everybody keeping score, this is amazing. Jacoby has never had deep fried turkey, but that's not the point. Is that I'm a snob when it comes to first class. He is when it comes to eating leftovers.
I don't like leftovers. I work too hard. I want hot food. You know what I mean? I work too hard.
Same way I feel about using the bathroom and putting my luggage up in first class.
I work too hard for this. I'll take some hot food. I know that makes me sound bougie or whatever, but I've had this opinion since I was broke.
Bad and
I don't
bougie.
want yesterday's food. You know? I don't want yesterday's food. I want today's food. Unless it's some Chinese, because then I can rock with that.
Well, you better keep a job.
I'm trying. Thank you so much for the call, Nicole in L.A. Shout out to you and your boyfriend.
Shout out.
Husband, and your boyfriend. Just play Nicole.
Stop.
Just play Nicole. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
I have a question for Jacoby. This is Monica Driver from Flint, Michigan, by way of Dayton. Question. When my family comes, they always take plates of food home. Do you have the same issue? I'm only asking because I'm African American. Sometimes my family will come in. They'll make a plate to go before they sit down and eat. Let me know what goes on with your family. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Big shout out to Flint Town. I know you're still dealing with the water crisis or whatnot. I wish it was something that dominated the national headlines, that people are using water like a third world country right now in Flint, Michigan. Mm-hmm. So I'll take this platform to do so. And I'll fall back and let you answer her question, because you notice she didn't ask me anything.
I think her name was Monica.
You notice, let me repeat, she didn't ask me anything.
No, you got her name wrong, too. She said she had a
Her name
question
is
for
Nicole.
Jacoby, and then while she says talking, you point to yourself like, I gotta talk. That's what it is doing a show with you. She asked me a question pointedly, like, Jacoby, this is a question for you.
I never answer her question.
I know.
But I wanted people to realize there's a reason why she didn't ask me.
Well,
I know what you're going through.
We've already covered the leftovers things. I prefer people leave, but usually it's on the way out when the to-go plates are starting to be talked about. And here's one reason is you have the initial Thanksgiving dinner, and everybody hangs around so long that like you kind of go back to the food at some point. You know, you go Thanksgiving dinner, and then you go desserts, but then it's like 4 hours later, and you napped or you watched the Lions lose or whatever, and you just go back to the food.
Always taking shots.
You always go back. I go back to my favorites. You know, the mac and cheese, which my wife makes me call it the crack and cheese because it's so addictive, and it's not good for you. But it's funny that she says that because she says she's African American. You notice how she assumed that I did not have a very diverse family. You know, I think she thought that perhaps that we had the Caucasian only Thanksgiving, but it's a very mixed group at my Thanksgiving table.
And like I said, there's a reason why she didn't ask me. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this respectfully: my mom is the queen of to-goes and carry-out.
Really,
she is that person that goes to a restaurant and orders carry-out.
Yeah, you do that too.
Correct.
I've
That's where
seen
I
you
got
do it
it
all
from.
the time. I've seen you do it all the time. It's one of the more baffling things in the world.
No question about it.
You will eat dinner, and you'll be like, oh, let me get this entree to go home. I'm like, well, who is that for? Are you like, me later? I just like to have it around the house.
And the other thing I want to make sure I stress, it's a boss move to make a plate as soon as you get to the spot.
That's crazy. I'm going to say that's kind of rude.
It's flagrant.
It's kind of rude. It's kind of rude.
I like these specific items. I'm going to make sure
I'm making sure that I reserve these.
And later.
Are we going to take a Sharpie, put your name on it, and put it in the fridge too?
Yes.
Is that what's going to happen?
No, you put a plate on top of a paper plate, and then you put your initials on it, and then you put a foil or a Ziploc around it.
Oh, no. See, I'm going Tupperware. Like, you have to take it home. You know what I mean? You don't want to leak in stuff in the car, in the passenger seat, or whatever. It's hard. And also, if you're Thanksgiving, you plan on drinking, don't drive. Just take an Uber.
Word up.
Just take an Uber.
Word up.
It's just not. That's not good for anybody. Not safe. Never drink and drive.
Preach.
Let's listen to another female voicemail. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. Wednesdays, we always celebrate the kinder, more intelligent, more mature, and just generally superior gender, the women. So we have all female voicemails today.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby, soft move or boss move? Making your password on your work computer Jacoby Juice, so that every time I arrive at work in the morning and log on to my computer, I think of Jalen Jacoby, my favorite podcast in the world. All right, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
That's a boss move. However, giving your password out to a nationally syndicated radio program and podcast and television show might not be the boss's move.
She never said where she was from. She never said where she worked.
She didn't say where she worked. That's right. It's a boss move. First of all, it's a huge boss move. It's flattering, too. Now I know how you feel when people get named after you. It just made me, I was a little blushing, just the fact that she has her password with my name in it, and you've got human beings running around the planet named after you. Huh.
That's definitely a boss move. And the thing I love about our dynamic is that we have people that love both of us, but it's always great when people love only one of us. And that happened to us recently, where a guy elbowed and pushed me out of the way.
No, he handed you his phone.
Just so I could take a picture with him and David Jacoby.
And I bet he posted it and didn't even give you the photo credit either.
I'm
that
sure
would
he
have been
didn't.
a boss move if he just wrote the photo icon and then wrote Jalen Rose.
He came up to us. He was like, Jalen, you all right, but you're not real. I love Jacoby. Can you take a picture of us?
It's the guys with the Celtics hats on. You know what I mean? Because they know me through Bill Simmons, like from the OG Jacoby, like literally 8 years ago, talking about Jersey Shore. Those were some of my favorite times in media. Big shout to the Podfather, as always, the first person to ever put me on.
Shout out.
Mike to speak and be distributed. Really appreciate those calls. We have time for one more. Let's hear it, Reg.
Hey, Jalen Jacoby. This is Michelle calling from Maine. You guys are really welcome to come visit anytime you want. It's pretty boring here. I'm going to keep my questions simple, all right? Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston? That's it. You guys are doing a great job. Keep giving the people what they want.
Big shout to Maine.
No doubt about
New
it.
England.
Shout out.
I appreciate the invite. You never know.
Yeah,
it might be a
I did
plane
like that.
connection. It may be an appearance. It may just be an opportunity to go visit.
You get kidnapped, the hostage situation. You end up in Maine. You escape. You need some safe haven. Who knows what could happen? You end up coaching a G League team in Portland. Life isn't promised. But her question?
It's an easy one.
It's easy.
Easy.
Mariah Carey all day. I'm kidding.
I was about to stand on this table.
I can tell the look on your face. It's like, I've disrespected you in so many different ways. You've never looked at me like that when I picked Mariah Carey over Whitney Houston. No, man, it's Whitney.
This relationship was going to be over.
It's Whitney. It's Whitney.
No doubt about it.
It's Whitney.
Drops the mic.
However, I like to watch reality TV. My wife found a Mariah Carey reality show, and I'm really glad that she made some changes with the people around her, because sometimes you can just tell. I've been in the media game a long time. Sometimes you can tell, like, the people around you are not this isn't the cream of the crop, Mariah, and you are the cream of the crop. You need to get the people around you right. Or they just cast a show with a bunch of, people that weren't great at it to give it drama. Who knows? But shout to Mariah Carey and that show. But it's Whitney over Mariah 10 times out of 10. So we went up to our 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed, and we had people ask some Thanksgiving-themed questions as we head into the holiday. We asked them to ask some things were cultural. So we've got some. Johnny wants to know, Jalen, is calling turkey stuffing dressing cultural?
Yes.
I'm going to say I've never heard of turkey stuffing being called dressing literally until this year. And I'm almost 40 years old.
It definitely is. But I call it dressing.
I've never called stuffing dressing in my life.
I call it dressing.
I'm kind of baffled by this one. This is brand new to me, by the way. I've like heard this being referenced before, but I didn't understand that the person meant stuffing. I thought maybe they meant gravy, because dressing to me is something that goes on a salad dressing, or it's kind of like a garnish on a plate, like you're dressing a plate with some cilantro or something.
Someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll take a stab at it. While I am somebody that regularly cooks, never have cooked a true Thanksgiving dinner.
Me neither.
And I'm not the guy as it relates to cooking sides. So I'm out that day. But here's what I think the distinction is. I think dressing equals stuffing with gravy.
Oh, still then. And maybe it's dressing because you put it on top of the turkey, because turkey's whack. You know what I mean? You need those other flavors on it. You need the gravy. You need the dressing on there. Maybe that's how people look at it. Or perhaps you're dressing the turkey the same way you would dress the plate, by filling it with stuffing. Never heard on that. Thank you, Johnny. I'm educated here. Andre says, my family had fried chicken one year for Thanksgiving. Is that a soft move or a boss move? I'm assuming that Andre had it in lieu of the turkey, and that is a boss move.
Yeah. Don't waste food.
It's a boss move.
It's a boss move.
Turkey. People like chicken more than they like turkey. You have chicken like 3 times a week. You had turkey one time a year. For real. Are you white meat or dark meat, Jalen Rose?
Dark meat. What about you?
White meat.
Don't get a divorce.
White meat. I like the breast meat. I carve, like I said, it's all women at my Thanksgiving. So I carved a turkey. I don't know why that is a gender-specific task, but for whatever reason it is. I don't know why. It doesn't have to be, especially on Women Crush Wednesday. Ladies,
no doubt.
You can carve the turkey just as well as a dude can.
Doesn't
take muscles. But I do that every time, and I always cut myself the nice turkey breast pieces with the skin on it. Those ones are safe for me. Is watching the Lions play regional? Yes. Yes, it is.
That's international. It's been happening for 50 years.
That's from Finger Roll Jones, our co-producer.
No doubt about it. They're a part of your family's fabric as it relates to watching football. You remember when Billy Sims stepped on the back of a Houston Oiler and kicked him in the chest?
No.
You remember when Lawrence Taylor picked off, I think, Eric Hipple and ran it the other way 99 yards for a touchdown?
I don't remember that at all.
You remember Tony Dorsett running 99 yards against our defense? You also remember Billy Sims and his greatness.
I don't hear a lot of Lions highlights in these memories. Seems like there's a lot of scoring against the Lions in all these memories.
Those
Jalen.
are just historic plays.
Yeah. Okay, what's the most historic play in the history of the Lions franchise?
The most historic play?
Seriously, I can't think of like a signature play in the history of that franchise. You can't either. But that was when Dan Orlovsky ran out the back of the end zone. The only thing I can think of.
That was in the
Aaron Rodgers got the Hail Mary on y'all.
I was so mad when
the signature play. I know what it is.
Sterling Sharp caught a late touchdown on Thanksgiving thrown by Brett Favre against us right side of the field.
I think I'd say the most iconic play in the history of the Lions would be Barry Sanders breaking like 15 tackles
reversing
in the backfield
fields,
and then spinning around and going backwards. That would probably be the signature play in the history of the franchise, and I can't believe it took us 2 minutes to think of that.
It didn't take me 2 minutes. I was just thinking of other ones. Holla at your boy, Barry, trying to get you to come support some JRLA events.
Next, James is claiming that soupy mac and cheese is cultural. I've never had soupy mac and cheese.
That's not cultural. That's just poorly cooked.
that's just you didn't have a strainer. I don't want soupy mac and cheese. I don't want soupy mac and cheese.
We're not going to do that line of demarcation here.
No. So one thing that's important to me with Thanksgiving dishes is a food philosophy that I have that I want to explain to you, Jalen Rose. It's also a restaurant idea that I have. Let me pitch you a business. Can I borrow $1 million for a restaurant?
It depends on the idea.
Okay. It's called the Crunch and Mush Cafe. You know how you go to certain places, it's Indian food, or you go to this place, it's a Thai restaurant, this place, is a Chinese restaurant. There's so much demarcation of cuisine based on regions. But I would like my cuisine and my restaurant is going to be based on texture alone. It's called Crunch and Mush. And this soupy mac and cheese claim made me think of it. Do you know what I love about my mac and cheese, that my wife makes the best mac and cheese in the world? It is crunchy on top. There's a lot of crunch on top. there's burnt pieces, and there's certain mac shells that have turned hard. You know what I mean? And like you kind of really need like a knife to cut it. You can't kind of scoop it out with a spoon. But underneath, it is hot and gooey and cheesy. So you get some crunch and you get some mush. I also look for this in my mashed potatoes, because mashed potatoes, if not seasoned appropriately or cooked appropriately, they're just kind of like flour with some water in it, you know? And I want crunch and mush in all of my dishes. Your thoughts on the Crunch and Mush Cafe? Can I have $1 million?
Too much thinking. Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. You didn't even listen to me. If I asked you to pitch me back that restaurant, you couldn't even do it.
I know what you mean. Like, the perfect analogy was the mac and cheese. How it's really crunchy on top and everything else.
On the bottom. Like a good pie.
I'm going to tell you what it's like. It's like chips in a bag mixed with popcorn. Crunch and mush.
Or, you know what I love? I love like a tuna salad sandwich with some ruffles in there. Crunch and mush. Kind of $1 million.
I'm good. I like those two things.
This is a great investment opportunity for you, Jalen. This is a great investment opportunity for you.
I'm good. I don't want to be the first one in.
$500,000?
I want to be the first one in.
Reggie, can I have $5? You would have been the second one in then. Finally, you know what? We got a new co-producer. Her name is Allie. I'm pretty sure this isn't a dude named Alan. I hope this is a female named Allie, because there's a female picture in the avatar, so I'm assuming it's her. Soft move or boss move, going around the table and everyone saying who or what they are thankful for.
Boss move.
P.S. Me and my boyfriend are thankful for you guys in the Dope Pods. Allie, I believe, is a woman. I don't think we do this at my house.
Shout out.
I don't think this is done at my house.
It should be.
I don't think this is done. I mean, I'm not going to say we've never done it, but this is certainly not like a tradition that happens every year.
So here's an exercise I want people to try to do in their own world. I'm really big on don't just bring flowers to the funeral, bring soup when you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to only deal with things as fads. I try to own them for what they are, and if I'm truly passionate about them, believe in them and keep riding or die.
Which is why you're wearing those glasses today.
No question about it. When you see me with Gazelles or Cartiers, it's for one reason. Detroit dreaming. When I grew up, that's what I wanted to rock. So guess what I'm going to do when I got a black card in my pocket? Rock whatever I want.
Good for
you.
And
that's what I wanted.
Good for you.
I appreciated so much how the Ice Bucket Challenge went viral and the millions and millions of dollars that went towards the cause. I wrote it down. I know what it is. But my challenge to you is any public figures or friends that you see on YouTube that have done the Ice Bucket Challenge, you go ask them, what cause was it for again?
Ooh, I think I know.
And I bet they won't know.
I think I know. And
because
I never did
it became a fad. But it was for charity, which was terrific, amazing, wonderful, fantastic, the awareness that was grown.
Can I make a guess? And this is not the producer telling me in my ear. Say ALS?
Correct.
Boom. That's the first thing I've gotten right in the history of this program. Jalen, you are a great NBA analyst.
Thank you.
But you're an even better statue analyst. You are the senior statue analyst, not just of this show or of this network, but of the world. And we have some statue news. Jalen, this Saturday, the Round Mound of Rebound, Charles Barkley will be celebrated with a statue and honored at Auburn University. As a senior statue analyst, what do you think this statue will look like?
In college, he was famously known as the Round Mound of Rebound.
Mm-hmm.
He was hefty, the original stretch mark 4 that would go coast to coast on you and dunk on you, make the mid-range jumper, turn over both shoulders in the post, and grab every rebound off the backboard. So to me, his statue should be one of...
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. You see what we have here? Not bad, right? And then it says at the bottom, Charles Barkley, the original stretch mark 4. Do you think they're going to do that?
They're not going to do that.
No?
No. But he would like that. Congratulations, big bro. I love you.
So, someone else that I know you love, supporter of the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, owner of the Detroit Pistons, gentleman by the name of?
Tom Gores.
Well, there's a little bit of news about Tom Gores. At the Pistons facility, they have iconic action shots of all of the players. And they also have this action shot of Tom himself pointing to the heavens with his hand on his heart, casually dressed. Do you support the action shot of the owner at the facility?
Absolutely. That's my brother. I'm so very fortunate that he's the owner of my hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
Unhappy, obviously, for the people of Auburn Hills who lost the team, but it means so much to the fiber of the team that, along with Tom and Arn Tellum, they got the team to play back in the city. And his passion is what drives the franchise, and it's the leading catalyst to why they've got off to a really good start so far this year.
What do you think about him choosing this, the hand of the heart point?
I got to teach you a secret.
What's the secret?
You said it twice. I was going to let it go.
What's that?
Your heart isn't on the right side.
That's a good point. That's a decent point. So let's go back to the picture then. Because we had a theory that he was doing an armpit sweat check. You know what I mean? Like he was just checking the pits to see if he needed some deodorant or something.
Nah.
He's good.
He's chilling, enjoying the game. I need to do a better job of going to hometown games.
Yes,
I will
Jalen.
be going a few times in December.
Good. In the 1980s, former Cleveland State coach Kevin Mackey helped bring Manute Bol from Sudan to the United States, right? And part of that was recruiting him to play in Cleveland State. And there's a lot of sort of paperwork and stuff that needed to happen for that to work. And he recently told Zag's blog that he made up Manute Bol's birthday because he didn't know how old Bol really was. And he said that the people at immigration were fans of Cleveland State, so they didn't really, they just kind of let it happen, right? This is what Kevin Mackey said, quote, "He was probably 40, 50 years old when he was playing in the NBA." Jalen, your career just started as his career ended. Do you think Manute Bol, that man right there, could have been 50 years old playing in the NBA?
He wasn't 50. That's an exaggeration. You can look at his face and tell how young he was, and as the year started to progress. But like a lot of international prospects at the time, you truly didn't know their exact age. But for his height and all of a sudden initially being called upon to be a shot blocker to become a knockdown three-point shooter was really impressive.
If he played when he was 50, that means you still got like 5 or 6 years left of eligibility.
I can make that corner three.
You can make the corner three. You've still got a couple years of college eligibility, right?
I know.
Let's get you
and
back
I
out
haven't
there.
retired.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Jalen. I played with you. You're not ready for the NBA game, but you can play in college. Like, you can play in college. If they're going to give Jim Harbaugh a lifetime contract, they can at least get you back out there, old number 5, lefty number 5, yelling at people. No? No? So, Jalen, I'm married. I've been through that process.
Happily.
Very happily. Me and my wife have a lifetime contract. Jim Harbaugh, I wouldn't give a lifetime contract to. Joey Jacoby, lifetime contract, no question.
I like what you did there.
Mike Leach, football coach, got a good personality. Reporter asked about advice about his upcoming wedding to his fiancée. Mike Leach didn't just say congratulations and move on. He gave some real advice. Almost too real. Let's listen to Mike Leach's advice to a young man about to get married.
The women lose their mind. Your fiancé is going to lose her mind. Your mother-in-law is going to lose her mind. Your mom is going to lose her mind. Several of your sisters and female relatives are going to lose their mind, and they're going to barrage you with constant questions. What should we wear? And then, which, of course, my answer was, I don't care. And then, what color should the invitations be? I don't care. What should we have for dessert? I don't care. Should we seat this way or that way? I don't care. But see, I don't care is not satisfactory at all.
We cut that down. And the original version I saw was like 4.5 minutes, and that was cut down too.
Oh, wow. He kept going and going?
Like, he really had something to say about nuptials and the process. But you know what? Truth. He gave that young man a lot of game about getting married. Do you think his wife felt a certain way when she heard this?
She would, but here's what I learned. You taught me this.
What's that?
After a while, your significant other doesn't pay attention to your public persona.
No, not at all.
So Mike Leach's wife, guess what happens when he comes on the local news and he's doing an interview? She changed the channel.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows that too. And based on that, there's one thing he would have switched if he thought that she would listen.
I know.
Instead of saying he doesn't care, he would say, whatever you like. That was the only things he would have substituted.
Now, and I'm not just being like the PC guy when I say this, but he did sort of make it seem like only females get wrapped up in the wedding stuff, and that's not how it goes in reality. Because there's always some upset father of the brides out there, you know what I mean, or some brother that doesn't necessarily love his sister's groom. There, you know what I mean. Like the drama surrounding wedding preparation is not gender specific. As someone who's been involved, but I had a very drama-free experience. It was great.
Joey's the best.
My advice to anybody getting married: don't spend that much. Don't spend that much. Do you know that money's going to come in real handy later in life? Not throwing a party.
You know when that money's going to come in handy? After your nuptials.
Exactly. Don't. And another piece of advice. I don't know why it's all financial tonight. Is you're not getting that much back. You know, that's not how it works. You think you're like, oh, we're gonna get gifts or whatever, but like you end up getting like a spoon. You know what I mean? And spoons don't pay the bills.
Where you're registered.
Yeah. Spoons don't pay the bills. A serving dish doesn't pay the bills. No. Don't spend that much money on your wedding. That's my wedding advice.
I have wedding advice.
Okay.
Don't get registered.
Ooh, why is that? Encourages people to buy presents.
Encourage people to give you cash.
Yes. But I don't know how to say that. You know what I mean? You can't put that on the invite. Bring cash.
No, again, it's all about your personal circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Your family and friends, guess what they know? Where you work and how much you make generally. So therefore, if your fiscal situation calls for them to give you cash that you can use versus certain gifts that you won't be able to use, that's an efficient way for everybody to contribute.
Of course. You know that Godfather scene, the wedding scene, with all the money?
I do.
I saw that. I was young. I was like, 13. I was like, I'm getting married. This was great. I didn't realize that was cultural. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess not everyone lives like a mafia boss. But when I first saw it, I was like, getting married looks great.
My ultimate challenge to a media member: ask LeBron about that scene. See if he remembers.
He got no idea. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, definitely. Jalen.
What up, Dow?
Cowboys game tomorrow. After the Lions game, you'll be upset. But you'll be excited for Phillip Rivers because you need him in your fantasy team.
Just a fantasy.
And at the Cowboys game, you can get this thing. A Texas-style dressing holiday meal. You ready for this? It's a Texas-shaped waffle made of traditional stuffing, topped with homemade mashed potatoes, a choice of roasted turkey breast or smoked pit ham, fresh green beans, and homemade cranberry sauce. The meal is stacked high and slathered with turkey giblet gravy.
Let me tell you what's overrated. All of these things that are stacked, that you can't put all in your mouth at once.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if it's a hamburger. Did you see those amazing commercials with 5 buns and onion rings and 3 patties?
A pastrami sandwich in New York City. You go to Katz's and you get a pastrami sandwich. It's like, what do you want me to do with this thing? Like, what is this?
I like cats, but I see what you're saying. No doubt about it. And so, the only thing I like on my waffle, 2 things: butter and syrup. I don't want mashed potatoes on my waffle.
I don't need fried chicken with my waffles either. Butter and syrup.
We talked about that on this program.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nas. I got to go check out his restaurant in Queens. I think that's where it is. Chicken and waffles.
He does chicken and waffles?
I got to go check it out.
I usually co-sign everything Nas related, but I can't co-sign chicken and waffles. I like it.
That don't mean that's what you have to order.
If I'm not going to go to Pat's Cheesesteak and be like, hey, can I get a chicken sandwich? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you specialize in, then that's what I'm going there for.
You don't go to steak restaurants and always order steak?
Ooh, dirty secret. Lamb is always good at a steak restaurant. Fish is always good. Like a steakhouse, go with other meats, other things on the menu at a steakhouse, and you will not be upset.
And as somebody that loves lobster, don't always love them at steakhouses.
Ooh, why is that, Mr. Rose?
Because a lot of times they only have whole lobster. They're trying to get you to pay for some 4 or 5 pound thing you're never going to eat.
You just want the tail?
And a lot of times I just want the tail.
Oh, I like the claw meat the best. Claw meat is the best part of lobster, in my opinion.
Yeah, Joey told me.
The Department of Defense is developing plants that are also spies.
That's doing too much.
I just want to see what you say.
That's
Sometimes
doing
you
too
half
much.
listen. You know what I mean?
Plants and spies? I heard all of that. It's doing too much.
Sometimes when you hear about those studies or whatever, it's like people are spending money on this. Like if your name is Kevin and you work for the Department of Defense, your wife's name is Carla, and you're leaving, and Carla is like, "Oh, what are you doing at work today?" And you're like, can you imagine what they asked me to do? They want me to develop a flower that can spy on people.
Now, however, want to hear what your mate has to say or do when you're not around? I guess that would be something interesting for the house.
I'm not concerned about that. There's nanny cams all over my house, because we have young children, so we used to have, when they're babies, you kind of want a camera there so you can, of
course,
look at them or whatever.
Right.
And sometimes you just kind of forget, and you're like, ooh, that entire phone conversation could have been listened to by anybody that had the password to that camera right there. Something to remember for new parents.
Well, you got to change the password from Jacoby Juice.
That's not my password. That's that girl's password that called in. This guy scored 2 goals in the English Premier League game, okay? And then he shows up to his child's birth, still in his uniform. Soft move or boss move?
Showing up for your child's birth in anything, boss move.
I'm going soft move here. In the births that I've been around, long process.
No
hours
question.
and hours and hours. Like, you end up just watching TV. It's like an afternoon at the house at some points. And sometimes it's like the most crazy experience you've ever had. But I want some fresh draws on. You know what I mean? I want some fresh socks.
But who says he didn't show up with his uniform and then make sure she was good and then go in the bathroom and change?
I feel like my wife would be like, what are you wearing? Put some shoes on. You got cleats on, and how you're dragging mud all over this place.
Probably did the same thing.
Yeah, you smell. To go take a shower.
He probably wanted to.
You can't be late. It's like a hip hop concert. You're not gonna be late to the birth.
He didn't want to take that 30 minutes, that hour, whatever it might take to get ready. He wanted to be present, make sure everything was golden. Then he go to the bathroom and shower and/or change. I take that back. He ain't gonna shower. He gonna change. You ain't going to the hospital and taking a shower.
Yeah.
So he wore that same funk for a couple of days.
J.R. Smith was asked if the Cavs were worried about the Celtics' hot start to the season, and here's what he had to say, quote, "Nah, it's too early. We don't start paying attention until after the All-Star break when you see teams spacing out. You start getting your best shot after the All-Star break."
Facts.
This is facts. This just sounds convenient for J.R. Smith because the Cavs are losing and the Celtics are winning. If someone tells me that if he was on a 16-game win streak, he'd be like, a win is a win. A win in October is just as good as a win in March. That's what he would say if they were winning.
True story.
When they're losing, he's like,
he would.
It doesn't really matter. We don't even care until the All-Star break.
I agree.
And I think there's a lot of sort of philosophies like that. Like, you kind of say what serves the narrative of the moment for your team and for yourself.
I'm rolling. I agree.
But when you were on a competitive NBA team, you had a couple years. When you were on a competitive NBA team, when did you start really looking at the standings?
You look at the standings the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
You start to pay attention and take it serious when JR said, after the halfway point, the downshift.
How focused are you on other teams' records?
You really focus on the teams that you understand that are going to be good and those you may end up facing. And as playoff positioning starts to happen, you're definitely paying attention because those become your opponents. It's what you do for a living. You better be paying attention.
I want to get back to something that you said earlier. When you guaranteed that the Michigan Wolverines were going to beat the Buckeyes?
I did.
Why did you do that?
Because it's going to happen. JT Barrett's final game versus the Wolverines, 3 picks.
What other details are going to happen?
That's the most important one.
Okay. I think you're saying that because you're going to be there. I think that has something to do with it.
Of course it has something to do with it.
I think that has something to do with it. But here's what's really going to happen. You're going to be down by 24 points in the third quarter. You're going to start, you're going to start thinking, I could beat the traffic if I leave right now. The highway's coming in and out of Ann Arbor. It get busy sometimes, especially on football. During football games. They get real
96.
busy. You know what? I can get a real jump on this traffic. Let me just see where my driver is. Let me just text him to see if he's available. We'll see. I look forward to readdressing this on Monday.
And the thing
I root for the Wolverines. I do.
I know you do.
I do.
But here's what I know about you. If your theory takes place, you're going to call me at the beginning of the fourth quarter to see where I am.
You're not going to pick up. We're going to open up our 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed because we have a simple motto on this program. So we got a tweet from someone named Ray Lewis. Not that Ray Lewis. It's a young female.
Shout out.
And do you know who Dan Dakich is?
I do. Terrific analyst for this network.
Exactly.
Coached at the University of Indiana under one Robert Montgomery Knight for a period of time.
Well, perhaps that's why he said this. Because brought to our attention from Ray Lewis, not sure if this is true, but I don't think that we get tweeted this if it wasn't, that Dan Dakich claimed that the Fab Five weren't the first to bring baggy shorts to basketball. Now, this comes to mind, my thing is there's no such thing as an original idea. You were not the first human beings to wear shorts that went down to the knees. However, you guys were the first ones to bring baggy shorts to basketball.
It's all about extreme. Michael Jackson wasn't the first person to actually moonwalk.
No.
However, he made it famous.
Mm-hmm.
So were there teams that I looked up to, like the Illinois squad, that had Nick Anderson, Kendall Gill, Marcus Liberty, who I cut V's in the side of my hair like? They wear long shorts? Yeah.
Sure.
The UNLV squads with my brother Anderson Hunt, LJ, Stacey Augman, my brother Derek Coleman in Syracuse. What you guys don't realize is when DC came home in the summer, when Hunt came home in the summer, they gave me those shorts. And by the time I went to college the next year, I needed that. So, in theory, he's right.
Of course. And you guys weren't the first people to ever wear black socks
and
play
we
basketball.
Weren't. No, we weren't.
But you were the first team to popularize it. Next, this is from Dominic. He sends us lots of tweets.
Shout out.
Shout to Dominic. This is a good question. The Thanksgiving topic that you don't hear about too much. Dominic touched on something here. Soft move or boss move? Dressing up for Thanksgiving dinner, even though the only people there are the people that you see every day.
For Thanksgiving, it's a boss move to dress up.
I'm not so sure.
Let me finish.
There's a lot of different things, but let's continue.
I'm going to draw the line in the sand.
Okay.
If it's a Thanksgiving when you're walking around the house with the people that live there all day in your PJs, your shorts, and your T-shirts, you got your shoes on sometimes, you got your socks off other times, you're laying on the couch, all you're doing is eating and farting, then I understand not putting on clothes.
Yes.
But if you're like me, for example, I'm going to have Thanksgiving dinner with Molly and her family.
So you have to. You're at someone else's house.
I will be dressing up.
I think if you pay rent or if it's at your house, I don't feel the need to put on a button up and tuck my shirt in and wear some hard bottoms just because a couple aunties are coming over.
Well, first off, you don't wear hard bottoms anyway, so that was a bad analogy.
I have them, though.
You don't wear them.
I have them.
I didn't say you didn't have any.
I own them.
I didn't say you didn't own them.
Okay.
I said you don't wear them.
Okay.
So let me do another distinction. Mr. Pay the Bills at the house. You don't think you should dress up for your family that comes to visit you on Thanksgiving?
No. There's levels to it. It's only close family coming over.
You can at least dress like you wearing some on this show.
3 aunties coming over. Like, it's not like we're having a party. You know what I mean? It's not like we need, like, there's going to be, like, 2 extra cars outside.
But you still can't be walking around the house with a pro club on. And your basketball shorts.
I think I can. And another thing that happens at my house, which I'm not sure, I'm not going to even go regional culture, whatever, is, like, the dinner never really starts or finishes. You know what I mean? No. Like, there's no official start time and end time to the dinner.
I'm going to go cultural.
There's just phases to the dinner.
Oh, man. I'm going to go cultural over the last 2 years. No question about it. Her family is Albanian and Italian. Mm-hmm. And when they say they're going to start at 2, people are pulling up between 1:30 and 2. When we say we're going to start, first and foremost, it's not till 5. Second, people don't show up till 6:30. And then you start eating from 6:30 to midnight.
Really? 6:30?
Because people never leave.
Oh, so I think I'm eating turkey at like 2:30. I never really know how to approach breakfast on Thanksgiving.
Don't eat.
But you can't do that.
Really light.
Get cranky, your tummy gets funky, you need energy.
Just eat light.
Eat light.
I did that today. I got a special surprise meal I'm bringing to the crib.
It's very exciting.
So I'm nice and starving. I only ate 1 bag of chips. Had some eggs earlier, and that's it.
I only eat 1 bag of chips. Jalen usually goes through about 3 or 4 bags of chips.
Better made.
Shout out.
How long does the winning streak have to last for Kyrie to get real MVP considerations? It's also from James.
First off, I'm going to teach everybody something right now. When I hear people talking about the MVP race right now, I wish I could do a Three Stooges slap to their forehead.
Please don't do that. It's not jaw season.
I like what you did there. Or cross country. It is too early to talk about the MVP conversation. That's a lazy media creation that is not even relevant at this point.
Talk about it before the season, and then like 5 games in, start talking about how those 5 games have gone. The MVP is pretty far from my mind right now when it comes to the National Basketball Association.
Those be the people that don't appreciate the journey, that only want to break down the destination.
Dominic has another great question. 0 to 100, how much did Ray Allen want to say his phone was hacked before he got caught?
Ray Allen?
Ray.
Raymond?
Mr. Allen?
Jesus?
Shuttlesworth?
Jesus?
What's happening, Ray? Come talk.
Socially awkward moment of the year.
So far, for sure.
First off, you can Google it. I'm not putting it out there. He already had his socially awkward moment when he tried to slide into somebody's DMs and tell them to do some things to themselves and think about him.
He's a habitual,
and that became public.
Habitual line stepper when it comes to this.
And the disappointing thing, this entire period, this is what makes it news. Not that he was sliding into somebody's DMs. That's not the news.
No.
The news is that he's married.
Yes.
That's what makes it news.
The people that he was chatting with online were not the people that he thought they were. It was some dude.
But that's what he get. That's what people get. I talk about that on this program. The game has gotten so lazy where people think they're going to slide into somebody's DMs. You look at a profile picture, you see a little cleavage, or you see a dude with his shirt off. Let's go back to real rap when it wasn't about having your shirt off. Go back to the 6-pack on the stoop. Shout out to Royce. That's where I got that line from.
I think I'm going to change my avatar. Just me with my shirt off.
Or make it somebody's boobs.
I got enough boobs in my own.
See if people are sliding your DMs.
I want everybody to enjoy their Thanksgiving. We are thankful for our staff. We are thankful for our listeners.
We appreciate
your support. The
greatest
staff and the best listeners. We appreciate all of you. Enjoy your family. Have a safe and happy holidays. We're all